Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we're going to continue building out our authentication practice application. Our main goals in this video are to create the login routes as well as the login form. So let's go ahead and just create kind of the blank routes, if you will. We're going to have app.get to/login request response as every other time, and then really all we're going to do here is res.render login, because remember this is just rendering the form so that we can actually log in. And then we're going to have app.post to login, and right now we're just going to do request response res.send hit the login route, and we'll add the logic in a minute after we have the form, because we can't really do anything with this until we have a form to test it with. So let's go into our views, and actually let's stop our server and touch views/login.ejs. Let's open that up. And really we're just going to have a form very similar to our sign up form. Form action equals login instead of sign up. Method equals post. And then we're going to have an input type equals text, name equals username. We'll give it a placeholder. And then let's duplicate that where the type is password, the name is password, and the placeholder is password. And let's just ERNAME. And then we're just going to have a button. Button type equals submit login. Alright, so let's do no daemon and test this out, see if our login route works. /login. Alright, the form is working. Now let's try and submit it. Test and test. Hit the login route, so it is indeed working. Now we have to go back and fix the logic in our login route. And what's really cool is this is actually a very, very simple process thanks to Passport. Up until now, app routes, app.get, app.post, router.get, router.post, whatever, have looked pretty much the same. We've passed two arguments. The first one is a string representation of whatever the URL is. The second one is a callback function that is run whenever that route gets hit. And that's what it's been every single time pretty much up until now. What we are going to do is we are going to use some middleware, some Passport middleware that is given to us by Passport, and we don't have to write it, so it's really nice. The way this is going to work is instead of this request response right here, we're going to get rid of that entirely, and we're going to use passport.authenticate. And this takes two arguments. The first one is the strategy that you want to use. So we want to use local because that's what we've set up. And the second one is an object. That object has two key values on it. The first key is going to be success redirect. And this matters. This name is important. You have to name it this. And that's just going to be a string of where you want to redirect them if the authentication is successful. So we want to redirect them to /account. Because after they log in, they're going to go to their account page. And then you pass failure redirect. And where do you want to redirect them if the login fails? And we're just going to redirect them back to login. That way, if they accidentally miss or fat finger their password or something, it'll just take them right back to the login form. So let's save this. Our server will refresh, and let's try it out. So let's go ahead and register a new user. I dropped the users database, so we don't have any users currently. So test at test.com, and username will be test, password will be test. So let's sign up. It'll take it a second to authenticate, and now we have authenticated. We're in the account page. So let me do a refresh. Oops, I want to go back to the main thing. This is the index page. Let's go to /login. Let's try to log in. Test and test. Log in. There we go. But if we go back and do test and random garbled gibberish, log in, nope, it failed and it redirected us back to the login page. And we can do that as many times as we want. And it will always redirect us back until we pass it correctly. There we go. So now we have our login page working correctly. And before I go, I just wanted to talk for a quick second about this whole passport.authenticate and just reiterate this is something that's given to us by Passport. This is a whole thing on the back end that has there's a lot more to this than it looks, but Passport handles that for us so we don't have to deal with it, which makes it super easy and super useful to work with. This is one of the reasons I love Passport. It's just so easy to work with in the grand scheme of things with a extremely complex topic such as authentication. In this video, we created two routes. We created /login, and then we created a post route to /login. The first one renders the login form. The second one actually does the login using passport.authenticate. The passport.authenticate takes two arguments. The first argument is whatever strategy you want to use, because remember, you can use multiple strategies. You can use Google and Twitter or GitHub or whatever. So whichever one you want to use. And then the second argument is an object, and in this case it has two keys, success redirect and failure redirect, and the values for those are just a string of wherever you want to be redirected, depending on whether the authentication is successful or fails. In the next video, we are going to actually add the route to log out so that we can really test, okay, let's log in, log out, because right now we've been logged in this whole time. Even when we were doing the login page, we've still been logged in. With the logout route, we'll be able to actually invalidate the session cookie, meaning that we will no longer be logged in, so we'll have to log back in and we can test this even further. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help. Thanks.